This is the 2021 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Yeast Experiment number 1, Dropkavike Nate Pale Ale. Thank you to our sponsors, Imperial Yeast, 5 Star Chemicals, Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store, Brewing America, all stainless steel mash paddle sponsors. Also Hopsteiner and Yakima Chief Hops. Get brewing.
Hey guys, Matt here, Wrecked Brewery. Going to do another review here, hopefully this time with some audio. So sorry for the last couple that I did for Wally's beer and for Gary's beer. Still got to put those together. This is for the Brewtubers Yeast Experiment 2021. This is the first hub, the DKN, the Dropkavike Nate. This entry here is from Nikhil. He's calling his the Dank Kick Nick, or was it Nate? So nice little poke there at the name. He's got his home brewery called Lazy Otter Brewing. So it's all there on the label. He says the OG is 1059, the final gravity was 1012, the ABV of 6.3, and he used the Omega Labs Espe, I think is how you pronounce that, their Kavike strain. I'm not too familiar with what that yeast is, so I wanted to, I did print something out here off more beer. This is OYL 090 SP Omega Kavike, because I wasn't real familiar with this one, so I just wanted to see what some of the descriptors were. And it says that it provides a unique flavor profile of likey, pear, and tropical fruit cup. It can bolster the sweet aromatics of modern IPAs, but it is versatile enough to use in a house pale ale or exotic seasonal brew. Espe is traced back to the village of the Grodås, I think that's how you pronounce that, or Grodås, in Norway. Has an exceptionally wide fermentation temperature range, most expressive when fermented at or above 90 degrees. But you can still pick up its character when fermented at the lower temperatures as well. And then it just kind of goes on to describe what the Kavike is. They're saying the optimum fermentation temperature range of this one is 68 degrees to 98 degrees. So it's got a nice 30-degree swing on that. Let's see what Nikhil put down in our spreadsheet for information on this. Let's see here, anything that I may not have already mentioned. So he said he just used a packet of the yeast. I didn't mention a starter or anything, so maybe we can assume he didn't do that. He brewed it on 412. He doesn't have the kegging or bottling dates on here. He uses the grain father. Mashed at 152, mashed pH of 5.4. Pre-boil gravity was 1051. He did do a whirlpool, 175 degrees for 30 minutes. And let's see here. So he started at 70, bumped it up to 82 degrees. So that's what he fermented at. He did do a dry hop, 6 days at 78, and I guess he says -70. So I'm guessing over the 6 days it free fell down to room temperature. Cold crashed 3 days at 45. He force carbonated. It looks like he kind of stepped it. He has 35, 30, and 20. So I'm assuming that over that course of time, he changed the pressure down to serving pressure. He says the color of his beer is a bit darker. Not sure if the local homebrew store messed up on the grains, but just something to keep in mind. I mean, that's certainly possible, have a grain difference, but as we've seen from, or at least, as I've seen on a couple of these yeasts, they can change the color. And I know a few of us have used the exact same grains from beer and wine hobby. So that is definitely a possibility that the yeast just changed it. So Nick uses the PET bottles. You don't see many of those, so that's pretty neat. I'd guess these are probably real good for shipping because they're very forgiving, being that they're plastic. So you don't have to worry about really any breakage with that. It'd be kind of hard, I think, to break these. I think this is probably the clearest so far. Mine was pretty clear. Gary's was pretty clear. I think Gary's was a little bit clearer than mine, and he used the Citrus King. I used Juggernaut from Maniacal. Yeah, I think Nikhil's is probably so far the clearest. This is just a little bit clearer than those two. so this is probably on point with the control. It definitely is darker. It is certainly darker, a darker looking DKN. So if I looked at this, I wouldn't, I wouldn't think that it was the control. I mean, that's what I'm comparing it to. I would think that it is a shade darker, and it certainly is. It's got some good carbonation bubbles rising on the inside. You can see it, streaming up in there, but it doesn't have much of a cap, and the head kind of burned off pretty quickly. So it's, but you can definitely see that sort of upside down snowstorm effect in the glass. So it's got good carbonation. Let's see what we have in the aroma. It's definitely more of a muted aroma from some of the others that I've had. I'm not really getting. I'm getting maybe a little bit of citrus in that. Trying to think what the other thing is I smell in this. It's not really like it's not like a pine. It's more like a. Dare I say, it smells almost like an iced tea. I don't know why it smells that way to me. I can't really come up with. I'm bad with descriptors. That's the best thing I can come up with to describing this. But it is a very muted hop presence. That's or even maybe that's the yeast that I'm smelling there that's doing that. But yeah, I don't know why I think that, but it just to me smells like it's got a little bit of a sweetness to it, and it almost kind of smells like an iced tea, kind of, not quite, sort of a muted aroma there. Let's go ahead and try the taste. Cheers. That's really different. That's really different for a DKN. That's not at all like the control. Yeah, it does have it has a very, very little bit of citrus maybe there in the taste, but it's probably more tropical. More on that kind of side of things. I'm getting. Trying to think. You're definitely getting some good bitterness off of this. But it's not like right up front. That's really nice. That's really unique. Just looking at the notes again to see if anything kind of jogs my memory here on what I'm tasting here. Now they're talking about a unique flavor profile with pear and a tropical fruit cup. So I definitely was picking up some of the tropical notes there. I could see that. It has kind of like an interesting little sweetness to it. So maybe that's what they're kind of getting at when they're talking about a fruit cup. It's really interesting how that has that aroma to it. I'm not really picking up like what you would expect to smell from the hops. It's really different. That's great. It's a really good one. Nice job, Nikhil. Thanks for joining us on this experiment. Go ahead and plug our sponsors here. Thank you to Beer and Wine Hobby for supplying the ingredients for this experiment and for everything else that our homebrewers have needed over the past few months here since you've hopped on board. Thank you to 5 Star Chemicals for helping keep our brewery clean and sanitary. A big thank you to Hop Steiner and Yakima for sending us a whole bunch of hops. More than I know what to do with anytime soon, so that's really cool. Our newest sponsor has been Brewing America. Thank you for hopping on board, and also, of course, Imperial Yeast. Now, this is Omega, but I know some of us have used Imperial in this experiment. So, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you for all the participants in this experiment. And I think I have one left to do. I got to see. I believe it's Jerry's. I'm going to go ahead and break into that one. I think here. and do some editing tonight. So with that, have a good night, everybody. Take care, and we'll talk to you on the next one.